se alegran, cielito lindo, en los corazones. What is up, YouTube? Today we are at my mother's residence. My mom's house, if you will, mi mumsies. Madre. I don't even know how to say 안녕하세요 and what is it? 감사합니다 in Korean, and then watashi wa what is it? Gaijin gankansuki in Japanese, and kanji. I don't know how to say mom in kanji and mom in Korean. I gotta learn more words. But anywho, I think today is a beautiful day to drop a video on how to purchase a vehicle, how to finance it, how to go about it, purchasing your first ever car, or maybe how to flip them in the sense of buying cars for Turo or to rent them out on Facebook Marketplace under contract. This is after Wesley after filming. If this video gets 20 likes, I'll do a part 2 on how to flip cars off of Facebook Marketplace and Turo. And that's it. Or even as far as just the requirements of purchasing a car. And this is for targeted towards people who have never bought a car or who are inquisitive of buying it right this time and want the guidance for a video. So without further ado, let's begin. So as you can see here, I'm gonna blur out my account number. This is when I purchased my 370Z last year, and I purchased this car at 21 years old. Now, I'm not gonna speak on the incident that happened with my vehicle because it was a fated event from no one other than Jesus Christ himself. But glory be to him, he taught me so much through this incident that I want to share knowledge and wisdom with the youth and elders who may need that sort of guidance.
Okay, but as you took that the wrong way, just so you know.
Ma! I'm doing something!
Oh my goodness. Okay, don't scare me like that. Good Lord.
Anywho, like I was saying.
You look like that, you gonna make me run out the house. You like me, what?
Like I was saying, this is from April 2025 when I purchased my 370Z. The total cost of the vehicle, I believe, was $21,000 or $20,000 with financing, or excuse me, with taxes and registration and et cetera, like $21,700. This is insurance, this is everything bundled in there. The base price of the car was like 17 or 18K, I think, or 19K, somewhere in there. So I got a loan for my first ever vehicle loan from Suncoast Credit Union. I did go to a credit union this time because of so long story short, me trying to purchase my first vehicle, which was a van in California. You guys know about my backpacking series on my channel. If you don't, go check that out. I was trying to purchase a Sprinter van or a Ford Express cargo van, but I did not get approved by the credit union I applied for because I didn't have work history or able to documentation of my work history. So this is going to lead me into the first thing that you're going to be doing. If you're going to be purchasing a vehicle, I recommend financing it if you're going to choose the financing route. And I'm only going to discuss financing and paying in cash. I'm well aware of LLCs or tax write-offs or things in that category, but I want to keep it very basic for those who are just trying to get a car from point A to point B. I'm not going to do a in-depth video of that. We'll do that stuff later down the road when I have it set up so I can give you truth and really good guidance. But anywho, like I was saying, if you're gonna finance, which is the route I took, which is a very good route, but you need to know how to manage that or steward it, I recommend going with a very well accredited bank, such as Chase, Amex, or Bank of America. Those are the 3 banks I recommend financing with on the non-credit union side. If you're gonna go credit union, if you don't know what a credit union is, it's more so just a localized bank system that is smaller, and they cater towards a specific, they have like more of a family friendly kind of vibe as opposed to an international vibe. Fortune 500 banks are like we need money, we circulated. Credit unions are more like, hey, we got your back, we love you as a family member type dealio. And I recommend doing your research on them, and I'm strongly recommending a credit union because they have better benefits and they're just easier to kind of work with, if I'm being honest. So when I was in Florida, I went with Suncoast Credit Union. As you can see right here, my credit score was 723 at the time of purchasing my 370Z when I got approved for my loan. And as you can see right there, it's 04/16/25, which is April, which is the time I said I purchased the vehicle. This is an old piece of paper. I keep all my documents so I can learn and grow from them. And I was approved for a $16,000 loan for my first time ever purchasing of a vehicle. So long story short, this is gonna be the roadmap to getting a loan for a vehicle. You're gonna wanna start with a secured credit card, and if you don't know what those are, I've already made a video on that. It's in the 2024 series of my videos. It teaches you how to purchase credit cards, a mediocre credit card video. And long story short, what you do is you're gonna get a card like the Discover It card or any secured credit card, and then you're just going to, I've already made videos on it, you're gonna have your low utilization, show the lender that you're able to steward the money properly and you're a responsible spender. They will then boost your limit once you graduate from the security phase and give you an unsecured credit card. And then you're going to want to get a second credit card. My second credit card was I got the Capital One. I got the Capital One Savior card, and the limits on my cards is going to be $1,700, $10,000 for my Capital One Savior card, and then my third card, I actually got it with Suncoast, and that credit card limit is $1,000. So that is kind of a very mixed credit report, which gives you good feedback to the lenders and recommendations that this person is trustworthy with money. And then with this, I was able to get a $16,000 first-time loan approved for my 370Z. Now with the Z, because I used all the loan plus a down payment on the car, I had to pay back the loan entirely, and I could not save any money there. Now I should have been, obviously at the time I didn't know this, but if you use less of the loan, they charge you less APR, which is your annual percentage rate. If you don't know what APR is, long story short, and anytime you do any type of transactional deal in honestly modern times, you're gonna tag on something called interest. Interest is like a multiplier, which is gonna accumulate more points on the cost of something. Let's say you're playing a video game, the longer I stay alive, the better weapons I get. Long story short, that's the interest of the video game. So my monthly payment for my 370Z was $310, I believe, a month. If not, yes, I chose to go $310 a month. So my car payment on a sports car for a first time ever vehicle was $310 a month, which is actually phenomenal. The APR was 4%, which is phenomenal. No, I believe it was 7%. My APR was 7%. It was 7% at $310 a month, and my insurance was $200 flat. So the total cost of a monthly payment for my car note was $500. The total cost is, I'm gonna say the insurance plus the car, because you can't have one without the other. I also do believe, depending on the vehicle you purchase, your insurance will fluctuate. Because I got a sports car, my insurance was a little pricey. So just take it into consideration. If you buy a beater car, if you're financing, if you buy like a Volkswagen Jetta or a minivan, your insurance could be as low as $70 to $80 to $90 a month, with a monthly payment on that vehicle, depending on how much of the loan you take, could be anywhere from, you know, $100 to $300, depending on your credit score. Now again, this all depends on your credit score. Because I have a 723, this allowed me more flexibility with the lender. The lower the score you have, typically the higher APR you're gonna have and the higher monthly payments you're gonna have. Also, the more restrictions and the smaller loan they'll grant you. Banks love to give out money, so make sure you have a very well accredited credit score, because this will genuinely help you purchase the vehicle you want if you know how to use your finances and store them properly. Now, I could also afford at the time that lifestyle of having a $500 monthly payment on a vehicle. So make sure you consider, I would say I wouldn't want my car to be more than 20 to 30% of my income. So be very intelligent with that. That is including insurance, maintenance, mods per se that you're gonna include on the vehicle. Be very, very strict on yourself on those things, especially if you're not ready to steward them, because it can gut you if that vehicle, something happens to you put all that money and time and effort, you can't bounce back from it. It can and will gut you. Now this is going to be the cash route. If you're going to pay cash for a vehicle, let's say I want a car on the scale of point A to point B. You're not going to get anything fancy. You do have to be aware that if you're stagnant with cash, let's say I have $5,000 to spend on a vehicle, that's my budget, that's my max. I would recommend buying a $3,000 car, because essentially there's always gonna be a whole host of problems. So let's say the car you want is $5,000, you're gonna realistically need $6,000 to $7,000 saved up to stomach any extra problems that come with that car. This is what people do not tell you about purchasing vehicles. For example, when I bought my Mitsubishi Galant from, again, my backpacking series in 2024, I bought the car for $1,107, I believe, in cash, and then I could not actually afford insurance. I could barely afford gas. I didn't realize how much maintenance would cost on that car. I actually went in debt for maintenance on that vehicle when I first owned it, because I was unaware of all that came with owning a vehicle. That was the first ever vehicle I purchased, and you know, things that sparked up. I was aware that for $1,000 for a car like that, it's naturally gonna have problems with it, especially with me not doing an inspection, just buying it out of desperation. So genuinely, I'd say, you know, when you're purchasing a vehicle, have a cushiony pocket to buy that vehicle. Also, do not ever purchase a car off of Facebook Marketplace without signing a contract or having someone there to document everything, because if you play your cards right, let's say the car malfunctions within a week, you legally actually are entitled to getting your money back. So make sure you also possibly have an attorney on standby, and this is where I'm going to place an ad. I'm not sponsored by this attorney, but I do want to plug them in because this is my personal attorney for California. My lawyer, my attorney, Federico Lothrop, I would like to plug them in. So Lothrop Law, that's my attorney, Federico, or Lothrop Law. That is That is LATHROP and then LAW. That is my personal attorney in California, in SoCal. That's my attorney. I love you too, Ma. If you have a attorney, or if you're in California, you need an attorney. And you have an attorney. And you need an attorney for SoCal. That is my personal attorney. I'm gonna plug in his contact information on the social side, and the video in the description. So document everything, sign contracts. Secondly, do not ever buy a car without a title. For anybody that needs a beater car, never buy the car without a title. Especially if it's gonna be your A to B. If this person is not able to do a title exchange at the DMV, don't buy the car, because you genuinely need to, let's say I drive this car down the road and I get pulled over and the tag is still in their name, and I get pulled over, this person has a DUI on these tags, they have this is a stolen car or a striker, or they have this car is is wanted for a possible murder, alleged murder. You're driving the vehicle, naturally the heat is gonna come to you, and even though you were unaware innocently, it's still a burden you have to deal with on the adult side of things. So I'd say move very slow in that process. Next up, when you purchase a car from Facebook Marketplace, you're gonna have to go to the DMV for the title exchange, the registration of the vehicle, the tax fee. So when I was in Florida, I didn't have a Florida license. They robbed me and I had to pay $400 USD for my tax for my 370Z twice.
Hey, Bryson, you bring me that
Mom, I'm making a video.
Oh, sorry. Bring me that bottle of Lysol out the bathroom, the yellow one, the liquid, the cleaner.
Okay.
Please, I'm sorry. I didn't know. Sorry.
So, you're good, Ma. So, I had to pay $400 twice for my Z, even though it was only supposed to be $40. I got robbed by the state of Florida, typically most people do, and had to double the cost of my life. My tags alone were $400, because I was out of state. So when you're in state, your tags supposed to be like $25 to $40. It's a whole scam with the DMV. So if you're out of state purchasing a car and want to get registered in that state, make sure you transfer your license over to the state you're in to make that process a whole lot easier. But it still will take 30 days for that to transfer. So you have to be patient. So, whatever your driver's license is, if you can, I recommend getting that car registered in your home state so you can avoid the fees of paying excessive amounts of money for a tag. But if you can afford it, or it's urgent and you need it, you gotta do what you gotta do. With a vehicle like that now, the benefit is you don't have to have insurance depending on your state. Some states it's legal to not have insurance. I recommend having insurance. It's a need. And insurance is judged off of your driving record plus the vehicle you're in. So when you get an insurance, they're gonna ask you questions like, do the windows still work? Do the AC work? Does the AC work? Do the power locks work? Does the lights and the horns and all these things work? You say yes for all of those questions. You never say, no, this doesn't work. No, you say yes for all those questions because they're trying to get you to value this car. And let's say I say that my windshield wiper doesn't work. They'll take off X amount of dollars that they can give you if you were to get in an accident with this vehicle, when they're gonna pay you out. Also make sure you know the differences. There's an insurance called gap insurance, which is like the ultimate halo of insurances. It covers anything and everything. So you're guaranteed a brand new vehicle if you have gap insurance. There's gonna be a business insurance. So like for DoorDashers, Ubers, Uber Eats, that's a business occupational insurance. So if you're DoorDashing or doing Uber Eats, please, for the love of God, get that insurance because if you crash your car or get in an accident or get hit, you're doing DoorDash or Uber and you don't have that insurance, you will go home empty-handed. They will not cover you and they will rob you blind. And there's just the basic insurance like with a deductible. If I crash my car, they're gonna give you, let's say like, I think probably like a down payment or something worth of the car, and then they're gonna investigate a little bit, and they'll give you like a larger value of the vehicle depending on what happens or something like that amongst those lines. So you get like $1,000, $2,000 for a deductible, and then you'll get whenever they total out the vehicle and gauge what it's worth, they'll give you that portion of the money as well. And those are the three kind of tiers of insurance that there exists. The fourth tier insurance is not having it. And if you get in an accident with no insurance, the costs are, if you're at fault, I do believe in some cases you don't have to pay, but I think there's a lot more problems that get tagged on and dinged onto you with your record and other things. So just for the love of God, just get insurance. I know it seems intuitive to not have it because if you crash, you don't have to pay, but anything that sounds too good to be true, other than Jesus, is usually too good to be true. So there you have that. So I believe when you're purchasing a car with cash, it's a straight up process. Just have the amount in full. Now, let's say I'm going to a dealership to buy a car in cash. Let's say this car I want is a 2012 Honda Civic SI. They're asking $9,000 for it, $8,000 for it. It's got an exhaust and some coilovers on it. Pretty decent price from a used car dealership. I would recommend bringing an inspection tech with you because, again, a used car dealership will more than likely be trying to scam you for money. I'm talking like an off-brand one, not like a used Chevy or Toyota, like a used, like let's say they call it like Hollywood's Auto Sales LLC or something. They're probably trying to scam you for money, and that car has issues that they've covered or masked. For example, with my Z, when the incident happened, the front bumper on my vehicle was spray painted black. It was paint matched. So the original bumper was red, which means that car was in an incident with a guy that replaced the bumper and then put it back on. He replaced it with a bumper, and that wasn't marked on the Carfax or the history, the vehicle check of the vehicle. So make sure you are checking the VIN, the Carfax. There's so many websites that access that for like $1, if not free. They just want you to have an account. So I recommend extremely paying very well attention to that. Make sure you bring an inspection friend who has an OBD scanner who can tell you the car is good on codes, there's nothing hidden. Make sure you drive that thing hard. I'm talking about go around the block, cash in hand. Yo, let me test drive this thing. Whip that thing. Because you know what I'm saying, they will genuinely scam you for these cars. Any dollar they can get, they're gonna squeeze it out of you, no homo. They're gonna squeeze it out of you, no homo. So you know what I mean, like be on your A game. And then from there they're gonna tack on a plate fee, taxes, and then more than likely like some hidden fee. So make sure you know about hidden fees, like if you're doing a trade-in or if you're doing I'd say things like that. But also if you're paying in cash, dealers will actually give you a lesser price on the cost of the car. For example, if my car is $10,000 and I'm paying all cash, I'll say let me do $9,000 right here, right now. I'll sign the contract. They'll usually give you that discount because when you're paying with card, I believe a lot of fees are tacked on, or you're doing financing, a lot of fees are tacked on by the banks. So that if with cash, they all that money is going to the dealership. It makes it easier for them. And then back to financing, you have 30 days on the temporary tags, what the dealership gives you if you buy cash or financing. And then I would also say make sure that car is practical for you, in the sense of most young men want Hellcats, Scat Packs, Mustang 50 GTs, Camaros, Nissan 370Z, 350Zs, maybe a new Type R. Some people are in love with those, etc., etc., etc. They don't make cars accessible, so a lot of young men are desperate to get them, so they're doing a lot of bad things and rushing to get there. I would say make sure that car is practical for you. There's nothing wrong with driving an old Honda Civic or an old Camry or old Corolla for a year or two, and then having enough money to not only buy that car, but mod it, take care of it, and be comfortable and afford it at a later age. I genuinely tell you guys from experience, I had a 370Z at 21, 720 credit score, couldn't tell me nothing. I did all the work myself, not realizing God was there for me the whole time. But I recommend purchasing a daily car such as a minivan or a CRV or something old and very reliable, and then purchasing your weekend car, because with the Z, dailying it as a car, man, all I want to do is like every day. And you know, being 21 with 370Z, you understand what I'm trying to say. My mom's coming, give me 1 second. So like I was saying before, my mother embarrassingly comes up here like usual and tries to destroy my name, I guess. I don't even remember what I was talking about, if I'm being honest. But I feel like the most important thing for any young person, if you're buying a car, have a good credit score. I'm talking 700 plus, 18, 19, 20 years old. It will save you such a headache. It'll actually make a Scat Pack attainable. It'll actually make a Hellcat attainable. 700 plus, a good credit report. I'm talking maybe a Discovery secured card, a Capital One card, or a Chase, not a Sapphire card, but their beginner credit cards. I don't mess with Wells Fargo, or having a local credit union's credit card with like a anywhere from a $5,000 to a $12,000 limit. And then lastly, you know, I have 3 credit cards. I'm gonna get my 4th one this year, maybe possibly 5th, God willing. We're gonna do a business credit card, and then we're gonna be doing I'm gonna go for, I want the Amex card if I can get approved for it. If not, I'm gonna be doing the Chase card. I honestly might do 3 cards this year, if I'm being honest, and just be greedy and get the Chase, the Amex, and the business credit card. Probably with Chase also, so I can have a strong credit report, because God willing, He knows my heart. I might be a finances teacher and show people how to waive debt, get out of debt. God willing, we'll see where this journey with the Lord Jesus Christ of Nazareth takes me. But having a 700 plus credit score in 19, 20, 21 is such a flex, because not only is it a flex intellectually, it allows you to have genuinely good opportunities at your disposal. I have a 700 credit score, instant door opener, and then you can teach people they pay you how to finance their money or coach them. Things like that. You can hustle with that. And with the banks, you're a trustworthy lendee, and they're gonna invest in you, because banks love giving out money, but they have to have a reason to give that money out. And that is genuinely the best advice I can give you with purchasing a vehicle with cash or with financing with credit cards. It's genuinely all about trusting the Lord and knowing that He is there for you every step of the way in that process. And I also say that if somebody has a car that you don't like, unless it's a Rice Rocket, don't judge them. Like if somebody buys a Kia K5 and that's the car they want, appreciate that person, appreciate that car, because it takes hard work to buy cars. It's not easy, and it's a very draining process. I'm gonna ask that if you watch my videos, learn to respect people and accept them for who they are and not what you want them to be. It's very hard to do, but Jesus makes it possible. And like I said, if you can partner up with a credit union such as what is it called? The military one. It's like I'm drawing a blank here. Credit. What is that one military credit union that all the military members go to? You know what I'm saying? I'll put it in a video in a minute. Also, I'd say have a localized credit union like mine, the Suncoast. There's SRP in Georgia. There's a lot of credit unions. Partner up with a credit union. And then actually, to take it a step further, the day I purchased my Z for my loan and got approved, I also bought, or I didn't buy, I also got a credit card with Suncoast. So because if you know about this, if you have, so when you do a loan or you get a credit card, there's a 2-week period that the credit bureaus are basically blind to your utilization. And what I did is I got, or not the utilization, excuse me, your credit report. So what I did is I got approved for my loan, and then I also on the same day got my credit card with them, and that only counts as one inquiry. So long story short, when you get anything on your credit, a hard credit check, it counts as an inquiry on your report. It takes, I think, 2, 3, or 4 years to go off the record. I don't remember. I think it's 4. Yeah, it's 4 years. And long story short, when you have an inquiry, there's a 2-week cool down period for them. They cannot do any more hard inquiries technically. So I can get I think 1, 2, 3, or 4. I'm not sure the number. You have to do your research on this because it's been a minute since I dabbled in this. But long story short, I got my car loan, and then on the same day I got my credit card. If I wanted to, I could have got another credit card on that day, and those were only counted as one inquiry because the car loan opened up the inquiry window, and it made it like that was only one inquiry. Now I do believe there are rules in that system where it's like it has to be under the same company. So for example, because I did my credit card with Suncoast, it still counted as one inquiry. But I don't remember if I were to do the car loan with Suncoast, that would be one inquiry, and then I go to another credit union or credit branch. Hey, I want to open a credit card. Can I do that? And will that still count as one inquiry because I have a car loan? I don't recall. I'd say you have to do your own research on that or go ask the bank. And again, how I learned so much about finances is I just went into different banks and spammed them with questions. How do I do this? How do I do that? How do I do this? I promise you, confidence, I don't promise you because God says just say yes or no, that'll be enough. I assure you, confidence is the #1 way to opening doors. Hey, how do I do this? This person doesn't answer, go to a different store. Hey, how do I do this? This person answers, boom, I just learned how to fix a phone. I can now open up a phone store and now make $10,000 a month in passive income. Just being inquisitive and confident will open so many doors for you. Also being in shape. Fitness, going to the gym will solve 30% of your problems. I absolutely guarantee you that. And with that, I would like to close this video. I don't want it to be long-winded or anything. I think I still have my loan documents. I'll be right back. So I wanted to show you guys the cost of the Z, or the loan I got for the Z, and the prices of everything, but I guess God said no. So yeah, like I was saying, dear Heavenly Father, I pray anybody that watches this video, if they're ready to purchase a car, that you guide them through the process and you love them and you make it accessible for them and they don't get scammed. And if they do, I ask that you make it a lesson to show them something for their future. That way they can be stronger and ready to teach others like how I am. In my name of Jesus, I pray, amen. Yeah, I think I'm gonna close this video. I'm pretty happy with it. I'll be making more and more content throughout the year, God willing, and a lot of stuff is shifting in my life, so we gotta be patient. But I'm very excited for what God has been carving for me. It's very costly though. I mean, I'm exhausted, but I love God so much that He gets me through these tough times. So with that, you guys can kind of see my house is crazy also. With that, I bid you a farewell and ciao.